Hello and welcome back to this conversation about peaceful communication, communication with less violence. You'll remember that we're working with concepts initially developed by Marshall Rosenberg under the label of nonviolent communication, and we're taking those nonviolent communication topics, but we're adding a spiritual dimension. So I think of this as peaceful communication, nonviolent communication plus Jesus is a way to think about it. So today I want to walk you through a surface level understanding of how nonviolent communication works. And then in subsequent episodes we'll come back and talk in more detail about each piece, each component part. Because the more we understand the depth of what's going on, and particularly the spiritual practice involved, the more effective we can be in reducing the levels of violence in our communication. So to begin, I'm going to invite you to engage in a little bit of an activity that we'll work through as we go through this concept. I want you to think about something that somebody does that bothers you. It could be anything, really. Something small, something big. For example, it bothers me when somebody leaves their towels on the floor. When somebody assumes that I'm going to do their laundry, that bothers me. When I'm in the grocery store and I'm just coming up the aisle and somebody ducks right in front of me in line, that bothers me. Think of something that someone does that bothers you. Could be big, could be small. We all have feelings, okay? Feelings we've talked about a little bit before. Feelings are the surface level emotions, the energy that rises up within us. Our feelings are helpful signifiers about what's going on within us. And our feelings are actually connected to our needs. I want to talk about needs a little bit because often the way we use the word need in our sentences is confusing to people. When I say the word need, what I'm talking about is the basic building blocks of human life, the things that all human beings all need all the time. So I'm not talking about something like, I need chocolate. Now, unless you're going to say that all human beings need chocolate all the time, which, okay, I'll entertain that one. But what I mean when I'm talking about a need are things like food, shelter, love, nurturing, the things that all human beings need, respect, the things that all human beings need, community, creativity. All human beings have these needs all the time. And so what we're trying to do really is we're trying to figure out how our feelings are connected to our needs. Because too often we have the feeling, and instead of understanding what that feeling is telling us about what we're needing right now in that moment, instead we jump right from the feeling to a request, right? I don't even know quite what I'm feeling right now, but you better do whatever. I go right to the request, or even maybe it's not even a request. Maybe what I do is I go right from the feeling to a demand, right? You better, right? So I don't even know quite what I'm feeling. I haven't even paid attention to what I need. That's not even in the picture, and I'm already making a demand. In fact, we often do this with our very language, right? I need for you to pick something up at the store. Now that's a simple request, could be a simple request, but really, haven't even named the feeling that I'm feeling. I've just jumped right to the demand. I need for you to pay more attention to me. Right to the demand. The feeling isn't really clear. The need is completely absent. We jump right to the demand. So be careful with your language if you use sentences like, I need for you to. Because I need for you to is a straight up demand without much thought given to your feeling level or the need that is underneath it. You got that thing in mind, right? You're starting to feel a little bothered even as you think about it, right? So I want you to begin writing a sentence. When such and such happens. So when my teenager leaves the towels on the bathroom floor. Okay, just write that piece down. When this thing happens. And as you do it, pay attention to the language. We're trying to accurately describe what happens, but leave the adjectives out. So like when my stupid, not thoughtful teenage, no. leave those things out, right? Just leave it straight up. When my teenager leaves towels on the floor, right? When a stupid, thoughtless person, when a person cuts in front of me in the grocery store, something like that. Okay. So you got your first part of your sentence, right? When this happens. Now we're going to try to name the feeling that we're feeling when this thing happens. So we're going to start with the feeling level, okay? So when my teenager leaves towels on the floor, I feel, and what is it that you feel? Do you feel annoyed? Do you feel angry? Do you feel frustrated? Do you feel sad? Do you feel hurt? What is it that you feel when this thing happens? So when such and such happens, I feel, write down your feeling right there. Okay. Now we're going to try to connect the feeling that you're feeling to the need that is underneath it. When I'm thinking about myself, my spiritual self, my feelings are these they bubble up within me and I'm aware of the feeling, but the feelings are really signals that signify whether my needs are being met or whether my needs are not being met. We all need food, we all need clothing, we all need shelter, we all need safety, we all need respect, we all need love, we all need to belong, we all need community, we all need to be creative. You see what I mean? So needs are the basic things that we all have in common. So when the towels are on the floor, I feel annoyed because I need respect. That's one possibility, okay? But what you're trying to do with yours is connect the feeling to what you actually need. Because when your needs are not being met, you feel negative emotions. When your needs are being met, you feel positive emotions. So sometimes what's helpful in figuring out the need is, let's say you came into the bathroom one morning after your kid was in school and the towel was hung up neatly on the towel rack. You'd feel pretty good, wouldn't you? So what need was met that made you feel good, right? So you're trying to connect the specific feeling to the specific need. All right. So now, hopefully, you have got a sentence that is developing that says, "When such and such happens, I feel because I need," and you've got what the need is. We're going to talk further about both feelings and needs because there's a lot to learn about this. But for now, I just want to give you the overview, right? So what we're going to be trying to do is name the feeling, figure out what need that's connected to, and then we're going to try to make a request. A request, not a demand, but a request. So when this happens, I feeling because I need, and I would ask that you would help me by, and then you put your request, right? Okay, so hopefully you've got a sentence now that says, when this thing happens that bothers me, I feel a particular feeling because a particular need of mine, which is now named and clear, is not being met. And I would ask that, and then comes the request, okay? So what we're going to try to do is learn how to express the feeling and the need first, and then figure out the request. Because if we just jump over, or sometimes we say, I'm so angry, I need you to, right? And so we go feeling right to demand. I'm so blah, and I need you to. But we've jumped over the need, and the need then becomes invisible, And so we don't really know what our need is. But as we talked about before, human beings have needs. We are naturally wired to help each other meet our needs. When you're a human being with a need I can help you with, I am fundamentally naturally inclined to help you out. But if you're a ball of emotion making a demand, I am fundamentally wired to resist that demand. And so the violence escalates. So just by not being really clear about our needs, by jumping right from the feeling to the demand, you are creating an environment in which it is very unlikely that I'm going to want to help you. Because I don't like to be told what to do, and neither do you. Neither does your 2-year-old, neither does your 16-year-old, neither does your 80-year-old. If we jump from the feeling to the demand, we're in trouble. But if we can take a moment, take a deep breath, take that feeling and figure out what need is not being met. And if you can articulate that need in a way that's not an accusation, that's not a veiled threat, but is just a clear articulation of what you need, and follow that need with a request, then without violence, you're inviting someone to help you get your needs met. So we're going to talk in a lot more detail in the episodes to come about how this actually works and about the spiritual dimensions of it. But I wanted you today to have an overview. And now you've got one sentence with some clarity. When this happens, I feel, because I need, and I would ask that you would. We'll see you next time.